Lucky you, listeners. You get to listen to a classic episode of the podcast when it was called The Two Dicks. And then it was the Talking Dicks, and now it's the Talking Dicks Comedy Podcast. This is from the vault. Enjoy. Do not forget to rate and review us. Thanks for your support.
Sequence engaged.
Talking Dicks, talking. Two Dicks web series. Here we are, Al Romas, Tampa. I don't know what you're doing, and I don't know why you're showing us your measurements. And that's Al Ducharme in Studio City. He's experimenting with backgrounds and weird things, and I'm not happy about it. I gotta be honest. I don't care for it. I don't like the non-AIDS quilt look. I'm not digging this.
Okay, let me just tell you what's happening. I moved up to my office, which is upstairs from where we normally record downstairs. I've explained this many times. I have to set up and take it down. Well, there's someone who's watching this for the first time.
They just bailed.
They're gone. Hey, no, we won't.
They left. They went,
go to our Patreon page.
I'm bored. I'm out.
Whoop,
Done.
whoop, whoop.
I heard there's an AIDS quilt.
Houston, we have an AIDS quilt.
Houston, we've had a problem.
We need an AIDS quilt. That's the official background of the Talking Dicks.
I'm going to replace this. This is an old monitor. This monitor is like 15 years old. I brought it. I was donating. It was in my trunk of my car. I was going to go donate it, and I opened up the trunk and went, let me go try this upstairs. So I have this,
Donate
but I'm replacing this with a 30-inch television monitor, and I'm going to set it up here, and then we're going to put the AIDS quilt behind it, and we'll see what it looks like. We'll see what it looks like.
Okay, maybe we get one from Ralph Kimber III. He's got a big rent-a-center there in Lynn, Mass. Maybe he can ship you a monitor.
I know. Ralph sent me a couple of sticks, and
really?
Yeah. I think
Very nice.
I think he felt bad for me because I've been crying poverty, and Ralph hooked me up major league, and thank you, buddy. I so appreciate that. I'm not going to be able to herf with you guys on the next herf because I have another obligation. I have to do a Zoom and an AM oldies talk radio. But they have like 50,000 listeners, and what am I going to do? Pass that?
Oh
up?
Yeah. All right. Plug away. Plug the 2Ds.
1950s. They play 1950s music. It's perfect.
Yeah, those people will be all over a video podcast. They'll be what?
Hey,
what
I was doing some math. If we can get 100 people from Facebook, almost 900 people, 867, whatever it is, if we can get 100 of them to come over to Patreon. For $5 a month.
Right. Yeah. What is that? $500?
That means we could actually.
That means you could have a monitor, a working, decent monitor, and an AIDS quilt all at once.
I just want you to know that I use my idle loan as a business because it's going to be a business expense. It qualifies, so I will. But I'm still going to try to get a bargain. You can television and monitors. I mean, oh my God.
Cheap.
The one I wanted was $140, and then it went up to $179, and I was like, "Oh, I should have pulled the trigger." Even though I'm using the idle money, I want to make sure that I'm getting the best price.
Billy Idol, remember Billy?
Remember him?
Billy Idol. Yeah.
What was his big songs? White Wedding.
White Wedding.
Wow!
I remember when he was on Letterman and he said how the kids they named the drugs after his songs, and there's like White Wedding cocaine, and and then he named them all, and then Letterman goes, "You must be very proud."
In his sassy, sarcastic way that only Letterman can do, right?
You must be very proud. Yeah.
All right, so I'm looking at you. I keep looking down at my laptop, which is here.
I'm looking through you.
You always have.
All right.
That's our audience there. They see you there, which is over here. All right, I'm just trying to work it out.
Our audience that we're both annoyed with.
Yes.
We're annoyed with our audience.
We are annoyed with our audience, not you, the other ones.
Yeah. The non the non-contributing, like not even the non-Patreon audience. I'm just annoyed with the I watch the video podcast.
Hey,
and then
I've been watching and listening to
finish
your
watching
podcast, and then I go on,
Yeah.
and I go, you didn't hit like. They go, oh yeah, oh I just put it on.
Oh, I don't think. Oh,
Thank you.
I hit like on the dumbest things. If I see a friend post I hit like.
Yeah.
Even if I don't watch it, I hit like.
I write one of my stupid jokes, usually bashing my wife.
Yeah.
You know, tons of
I don't
likes.
read them. I hit like on those. I never read
Yeah, I
them.
know.
But I just hit like.
You're very
like.
supportive, partner. I got your back.
I do. I hit like.
I got
hit
your
like.
back. You go in first.
You don't need me to read it. You just need a like. You don't care if I actually read it. I give you a like. Boom.
I do read, and I try to comment as much as I can. It's time consuming when I like somebody else's. To let them know
right.
that I read the whole damn thing. Now then there's
Well, that's how it's supposed to be
people
done.
that put the the War and Peace comment, and you're like, and you got to scroll, and you go right to the end. Yeah.
I've snoozed a lot of people. You snooze people for 30 days. I've gotten rid of everybody. Everybody with politics, I'm like, I don't care anymore.
My algorithms.
I'll see you in 30 days.
See, now my ambiguous political, they're not even political. I make comments about celebrities and politicians, but it's ambiguous. It's right down the middle. It's just stuff that you can laugh at. And I look at stuff from both sides of the political aisle. And if something's funny without being totally bashing of somebody, I hit laugh. It makes me. It doesn't matter which candidate. I laughed at both. I just laugh.
Right. Sure.
It's funny shit.
Yeah.
But a lot of things.
That's what
of things.
We do that. People do not do that for us, but we do that for people.
A lot of things happening in our capital, in D.C. and Bethesda, Maryland.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
The Red Rose Garden massacre. They're all got it.
Well,
They all got the Rona.
I guess when you're getting tested 3 times a week, 4 times a week, you let your guard down. Do you think you're you let your guard down, and you just I don't know what to say, because you would think that group is the most protective people. I know when they go on camera because it's political, so there's like an anti-mask thing going on. So,
Yes.
but
Anti-maskers.
yeah, but I would think that a lot of them actually, in private, take all the precautions because they don't want to mess around and get this thing. But
I guess not.
But I guess there's different ways of looking at it. There's it's not going to get us. It's such a small percentage. It really doesn't exist. Or
They're all old.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's 50 and above.
And they're not. If you look at them, they're not in the best shape.
No, some of them are the most vulnerable. I mean, the highest percentage of it messing them up, if not taking them out, and it's scary, man. It's frightening. I don't wish that upon anybody. I don't care. This whole political thing. I mean, it is what it is. It's hard to separate in this, but
We'll talk off air.
All right. On a lighter note, I'm going to plug my 14 Cannons brewery date, October 22nd. And I also have a cruise on that very same date. So whichever one cancels first.
Oh, you mean an actual cruise?
I have a double. I have a double booking.
Oh well, I think the cruise you can safely assume October. Not going to happen.
Yeah, but I haven't officially received the cancellation for it. Usually,
I'm officially giving it to you. Right
I know
now.
you are.
It's not happening. Yeah.
All right.
Take your little pencil and erase it. That's not happening in October. Yeah.
Remember that? Or an eraser pencil, and you blow off the rubber and the lead.
Ooh, yeah.
The rubber and the lead. That's the name of my book. The rubber and the lead.
Rubber meets the lead?
Rubber meets the lead, meaning condom and penis, a hard penis. No? Oh,
Blue?
No, you meant rubber meets the road, but rubber.
I was going.
Yeah, you were going with the writing joke, and I went blue. Is that a blue alert?
Give it a blue alert. There you go.
Woo!
Oh, you know what we don't have today?
We don't have any questions.
There are no because it's a short turnaround.
That saves me 2 edits.
Friday to Monday. We didn't get. I don't think I even posted the questionnaire, but we didn't get any We didn't get any questions for the weekend.
Did you drop your balls?
I did.
All right. Well, it happens. It happens.
Or that 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
It can't be a hard man to follow. He leaves 2 ball tracks wherever he walks.
I don't know what that is.
Stay off the beach. That was a hybrid line from the outlaw Josie Wales with Clint Eastwood. When the Union soldiers are trying to track him down.
Right.
And they're called the Red Boots, I think, because they wear red boots. It's a special squad. There's like 12 of them, and they're like a vigilante almost, but they're in uniform. Right. It's weird. And Josie Wales gets into a shootout in some small town because they try to take him in because there's a reward out for him. So he takes them all out. I think that's the same scene where he goes, "Are you boys going to pull your pistols or whistle Dixie?"
Right. Isn't that the guy from the Jeffersons? Isn't he leading that group? Remember the neighbor? The English guy who was George Jefferson's
with the red
neighbor?
beard, right?
Yeah,
yes.
That's him.
Oh, wow.
He
did a lot of work in the 70s and 80s, right?
Yeah, I don't remember his name. Can't pull his name. I'm sure Brian Freites knows it. But
I'm going to beat Brian to the punch. It's right there. It's right underneath you.
You should have left it alone. Then we could have audience participation.
Well, I can now. I have another edit. I'll take it out.
Take it out. Take it out.
Take it out.
But yeah, he was a good actor. He was I forget his name now, but remember in the opening credits, he's walking on George Jefferson's back.
Yes.
George wanted him to come over and walk on his back.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was a thing in the 70s.
Yeah.
You'd walk on someone's back to help them out.
You would help separate their muscles from their spine, right? I had a couple of masseuses do it. A couple of chicks. She weighed about 110, but she grabbed some of these wooden bars up on the ceiling and lifted herself, and then walked on my back, so that I was only getting like 50 pounds pressure. You know,
where was this? Where would this go on?
Some hotel.
On the road.
Yeah. You know what? It was in Portland, Maine, at the Portland Hotel. 1920s Art Deco, beautiful building, and then they went in the 70s and 80s and renovated it.
Why were you working?
I was working at the Comedy Connection in Portland, great little room. I actually made my first CD there. Great crowds.
Ooh.
But
what does that look like? Can we drop it? A little picture of the CD. Do you have it?
I may post your evening at the Improv too. that is like garlic and a crucifix to you.
I still have power. I'll delete the whole episode.
Well,
that'll be gone. There'll be no Monday.
I feel the same about my evening at the Improv. I told you my story.
I think most comics would, think about that way about your evening at the Improv. You know, I mean, all there.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
They were terrible. Everyone's was terrible.
There was a couple of good ones.
It was a factory. It was just get in, do your thing. It wasn't.
And then they paid you whatever it was. I think it was AFTRA, so I received like $1,350, and then Bud Friedman put them all together and released them all and made like $3 million. And I think one or two comedians sued him.
It was a lawsuit.
Yeah, it was the late Robert Schimmel sued him and won, and ended up getting, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars. But everybody else was afraid because Bud owned a franchise of the Improvs. Right. And the only ones I worked were Hollywood, West Hollywood actually, and Santa Monica. I never worked the other Improvs on the road. So.
Well, that's been always the problem with comics. You know, they get taken advantage of because they're afraid to do anything because then you might not work anymore. And they knew that. But it's like even years ago. Remember those the blue collar guys like that. They had those cassettes available at truck stops. They did some show. Some guy put them all out there on cassette. Truckers bought them.
Made a killing.
Million.
Made a killing.
And Foxworthy and those guys never got it done.
Right.
And then when they got famous, they sued the company and they ended up winning.
But
because at that point they didn't care.
Put the company out of business. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
they didn't need the money. They sued them when they didn't need the money. Didn't have to worry about it. But they had enough money to sue them, so that they actually did us a favor. Thank you, guys. Because they could have just said,
Same with
screw it.
Well, that was the same with Schimmel at that point. He didn't care. I don't care about the improv.
Yeah, his calendar was full, and he had a lot of confidence, and he was funny. So,
did you ever work with him?
I did. I opened up for him a couple of times at the Boston Comedy Connection.
Yeah, great guy. I did Long Island Governors with him, and we went out and got pizza in between shows, and then I kept looking at my watch because I was an MC and I was nervous. And he's like, "We got plenty of time." I'm like, "We should get back. We really should get back. You have plenty of time."
Yeah.
You don't go on.
The headliners would always do that to you, right?
I go on in 20 minutes, man. And he's like, "Yeah, you got time." I'm like, "I don't have time. We got to go."
The veteran headliners, which I guess we are now, but they would do that to you, and we'd be so nervous as MCs and middle acts would be like, but they would be like cool and calm, relax, kid, just relax, chill out.
Of course, that's the way I am now. I walk in. I have an 8:00 show. I walk in at 7:58, and the MC's been there looking at his notes since 6:00.
When we work together on the big ships, I notice you do that. You'll walk in. Sometimes we swap. I hate following him, but when we swap, I understand how relaxed it is. And then when you walk in 2 minutes before,
always. And when I worked with, I used to work with Pat Godwin quite a bit on the ships, and he's another one. He's a veteran, but he would get there an hour beforehand and just pace. He was in his head.
I worked with him on a celebrity ship. He was working the Celebrity Central room, and I was working in the theater. And I remember that. But he has to have his timing down with his music on top of the comedy, and he has to tune his guitar. So I got John Joseph the same way. He goes backstage like an hour before a show, and he's like dun, 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 walking around, getting breathing, doing all the warm up. You and I've had my phone ringing in my cabin. Ring, and I shut the door and I run. I'm like, wait a minute. The stage is on the other side of the ship. It's on the other side of the ship.
That was a lot of act out right now. Let's cut off.
Oh, I got to do more edits.
But I've had dinner at 10 to 9. I've had people go, "Do you have a show tonight?" I go, "Yeah." They go, "What time?" 9:00. They're like, "Shouldn't you be there?"
I still don't like eating before too close to showtime just because it makes me feel lethargic and heavy. I don't have an issue with it. I can eat. Don't leave it alone. I can eat a sandwich on stage. Go ahead, do it. I can. I just don't like the feeling of being heavy.
Yeah, I understand. But I will, have some kind of a meal. I don't like being hungry on stage.
No,
that's a weird. Too.
No, because I just want to get to the end and go eat. And
you ever get on stage in a theater? You have to do maybe 45, 50, maybe an hour, and in 10 minutes in, you're like, "I'm hungry. I'm like really hungry right now. I'm really hungry right now."
And then you're like, "Oh shit, the buffet's closed. The restaurant's closed. What's open? Oh, that stupid, shitty snack place, dried pizza."
Meanwhile, you're doing your act, and all that's in the back of your head, thinking of what you're going to eat, and meanwhile, you're still doing your act.
We're just on autopilot.
The act's coming out there, blah, 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 and I'm like, okay, can I order room service? That means,
yes,
okay,
I can do room service, but what night is it?
Room service, yes. This would be the point with the envelope. There's no envelope.
There's no envelope.
We need questions. Ask questions.
A lot going on in the world with everything. We got the pandemic. We got our leadership. The White House is being taken over by COVID at this point, and it's kind of frightening. And we have the election in less than a month. So
I'm not frightened. I'm just
That's
saying.
the name of his next CD or DVD.
I'm not frightened.
I'm not frightened. Is that it? Are we out?
You tell me, sir. You're in charge.
I'm in charge?
You're in charge of this. You're in charge of this monkey business. All right. Subscribe. Mary.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
Good luck in prison.
Don't forget to review us and rate us. It really helps.
The Talking Dicks became friends at a very young age, and the rest is history.
I'm losing my mind.
Patreon.com/The Two Dicks, which is named after our web series. This is the Talking Dicks Comedy Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
What?
Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
Okay, sure.
All right. Subscribe. Mary.
Patreon.com/The Two Dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.